Hey guys, DesolatorMagic here, and it's time for a very interesting situation. Perhaps you've heard of it by now. Or I can definitely call it a leak because the first thing you do when you fill out an online survey is basically agree to a non-disclosure agreement. But good luck catching the person. So there was a product survey, which, I've done these. I've done them for some Bega chips and a couple other things, some cheese and I don't know, all kinds of food products and stuff. I've done these surveys before where they ask you, hey, which one do you like better, A or B? Or, do you like this? What don't you like? Do you think we should change the font? Do you like the color? Does it make you hungry? What's your blood type? I want to climb inside your head. Seriously, they get really psychologically deep in these surveys. Then again, the survey was designed by Wizards, so might be a little different. So one of the people taking the survey was like, well, that's interesting. Screenshot. And this is what they came up with. We got the alleged mock-ups for Amonkhet and Hour of Devastation, which are coming out right after 8th Revolt in, I believe, middle of 2017. And then we've got, what's this? Atlazan and Conquest of Power. So the question is, are those real? And boy, is there a lot to break down. Let's start with the most important thing. Are they fake? Are they not? Well, I compared the colors because they look awfully familiar, and it turns out that's a coincidence or a poor design choice or both. So basically, you look at Atlazan and you're like, that's Battle for Zendikar. Those are the exact same colors. Come on. As it turns out, they're actually a little bit further away than you think. I took the actual RGB number codes, did a comparison, did like an average blur and that kind of stuff. They're a little bit more different than you might think. They are suspiciously close. I mean, it just seems odd. It almost seems confusing considering how close they are together. But other than that, it's just a little bit more like of a purple than a dark green and more of an underwater seaweed than a forest green. So it's not just a direct rip. Somebody didn't just Photoshop Vraska's face onto a BFZ pack. Plus, you got the weird-looking, Aztec rune carving, kind of thing in the background, and that's in the background of Conquest as well. But without analyzing it further, why don't we just go to the tweet from Wizards that says, yes, it's real. Now, you know this is a real tweet from Wizards because, well, see if you can catch on to what I think is the most evident part. And yes, I'm going to read it verbatim. A little while back, they tweeted out, yes, these images are from real survey of ours, but the survey was made to test packaging design concepts, no space double hyphen, not test actual packaging. That's some questionable sentence structure and grammatical phrasing and punctuation and pretty much everything else. I honestly don't know why, one, this person still has a job, or two, why this person still has the Twitter password. Now, call me crazy, but if I was in charge of a multi-billion-dollar company, I would probably pick somebody to run the Twitter account who wasn't a barely literate ape. I'm going to feel like such a dick if they have some kind of disabled children run our Twitter feed for one day program or something, but I think it's really just honestly a complete idiot. So Wizards at the very least is saying this isn't just some user-made photoshopped prank or anything. This is a legit screenshot. They aren't confirming anything else, though, and the tweet was purposely very gray area and very vague. Let's start with the bottom, though. We got Amonkhet, which that looks like the correct font. That's the font that they've been using. Hour of Devastation, matching font, slightly tweaked colors. I thought maybe I've seen some Hour of Devastation stuff that was that color, unless that's just my imagination. Plus, you got some kind of cat-looking thing. That's pretty Egyptian. You got the most Egyptian-looking dude I've ever seen. And then you got Nicol Bolas. He's, of course, in that storyline. And then some creepy-looking mummy that actually looks slightly familiar, but that, I don't know. I might just be remembering that from something else. We do know that Amonkhet is very, very tan and orange, very sandstone colored, so that matches. And then Hour of Devastation, everything about it just looks accurate, and it looks like a previous booster pack. Now, if you're wondering why they're all weird and bent like that, that's actually what they look like at retail stores that aren't LGSs. So if you ever go to Walmart, Walgreens, something like that, this is what the booster packs look like. Here's the interesting thing about the top ones, though. They don't have that black gradient. So maybe that was the design choice that they're thinking about going away from. And then they probably ask questions, which, oh my God, I wish I could see the rest of the survey. What was he thinking? Not taking any screenshots of the rest of it. But maybe they're going to go for more of a sleek full art cropped look than a black gradient that really is just black and white 15 card booster pack, which I think taking the eye focus away from 15 card booster pack might confuse somebody who's not that into Magic, even though, come on, Magic, it's huge right on the top. But if you think about it, if you're like a grandparent or a parent and you're like, oh, my kids play Magic, what did they tell me to get again? And there's this little tiny text on the bottom that says booster pack, and it doesn't really jump out to you. It's the very last thing that you would read if you read top to bottom, like normal English. And now it's not even high contrast. I don't think that's a very good design choice. So that could be indicative of a purposeful choice that they're potentially going to make, or these are just hastily made, thrown together mock-ups, and they honestly just forgot to put the black gradient on it or something. Now here's something nobody else is mentioning. We all know that the staff had said, hey, digital redemption codes are not out of the question in the future. And we also know that there's a new digital platform coming out called Magic Digital Next, and nobody really knows anything about it other than it's supposed to be for the average FNM attendee, not beginner players, not pro players, right in the middle. So it's deeply suspected that they'll do like a Pokemon clone where you get a digital redemption code card, you buy a physical pack, boom, you get a digital pack for free. That or something really, really, really similar. Well, nowhere on this packaging, like under 15 card booster pack, does it say plus digital code for redemption online or, anything like that. Now, could they put it on the back? Sure, but that would be such a huge, prominent new feature that they'd want to immediately push and get people into, make it clear as day. It would be on the front, and in these, it's not. That is concerning. But once again, it does point out the fact that maybe these are not the final versions at all. Maybe they put in dummy names, because honestly, those names sound ridiculous. Maybe they just are looking for the font and they threw in filler words that the person made up. Because they know if they say, hey, we're going to take a survey of 1,000 people, male between the age of 16 and 35, which is their demographic if they're honest with themselves. It at least was before they started lying about it. Oh yeah, 42% of our player base is women. Yeah, no, it's not. Shut up. It's geeky middle-aged guys. Okay, let's be honest. In fact, put a chicken wing on the front too, because most of us are obese. Let's just be honest about the player base right now, okay? In fact, put some free food inside the damn booster pack. Maybe put like a little demo flash drive with some anime on it or something. There is one strong piece of evidence, if you know how Wizards does things to a certain extent, that points to the fact that these are basically super final. I mean, they could still tweak it, but I've never seen that artwork of Vraska. I've never seen that artwork of Ajani. And in fact, I looked for every piece of artwork, every card, every Planeswalker of Ajani. None of them looked exactly like that. So that's a brand new drawing. Well, do you guys know how expensive it is to come up with a new drawing and pay an artist to come up with one? That's not like some dummy little stick figure or temp holder. Those are legitimately pretty darn good. So you're not going to ask people, oh, should Ajani's mouth be open or closed, and then go back and redraw it. I don't see them doing it. I mean, it's possible, it's doable. If they want to really go hardcore with like the market research, they could technically do that. If people say, oh, that lion's too scary, they could have some cuddly looking cat version be drawn and just throw out this one. But seriously, it is not cheap to hire artists. I mean, to scale, it kind of is, but Wizards is really cheap and they like to whine about the cost of artwork a lot. So yeah, the fact that that's Vraska, that's Ajani, never seen those before, and honestly, the Merfolk and the other chick, no idea who those people are. So for all I know, that's 100% brand new artwork. And it kind of matches on the bottom where I've never seen that artwork before too. So I think those characters are confirmed for either cards in Amon Ket or Aether Revolt or Hour of Devastation. They just threw them on there as placeholders. I very much doubt that, except for Ajani. So I think whatever they call the next sets after Hour of Devastation, they're going to have Vraska, a Merfolk, whoever that is, and Ajani. It just doesn't make sense for them to be drawn and put together beautifully and, optimized to get it all color balanced, scanned, digitized, and then use it as a throwaway market research project. No, that artwork is going to be found somewhere in the near future. I think we can pretty much guarantee that. Also, I hate Vraska and I hope she honestly doesn't come back, so that sucks. Oh, also, who the hell doesn't hate merfolks? Right up there with elves. Thank God there's not something resembling a sliver on the front of the package, or people would just already be on their way to quitting and playing Pokemon. There's certain things you just don't print anymore, and everybody hates merfolk. Cue the merfolk fanboys down in the comments section. Everybody loves Ajani, though. He's pretty cool. Well, except that super liberal Wizards made a character where everybody hates him because he's white. That's pretty typical Wizards, knowing who works there. Remember, it's not racism if they're cat people. Some forums on the internet would disagree. Now, if people said that I don't know, it looked too Indiana Jones with the amber color. They could tweak that a little bit. That's the easiest damn thing to do, a color shift. If people said, oh my god, that looks too BFZ for Atlazan, there you go, they could tweak that a little bit. That's easy. But the artwork, no, you pretty much draw that once. Anything else is subject to change, and like I said, it's pretty suspicious that they didn't put the black gradient on the bottom. They did kind of fade it in with some fern/seaweed looking kind of pattern. I thought that was kind of cool, but I don't like it. I wish I would have taken the survey. I would have told them that. Now let's come down to the names. Now Atlazan, that is so Wizards. I mean, clearly with the merfolk, it's just Atlantis, okay? It's like they can't make up their own mythologies. They are incapable of doing it. It's like, oh, what religion, mythology, or actual legit history are we going to just take a dump all over and make our own cartoonishly stereotypical version of it for Magic? As you all know, at this point, I'm deeply opposed to that. It's like, come on, just come up with your own damn storyline. It's not that hard. I'll tell you what, if they ever make a Native American-based set, they are going to hear about that, because the last couple video games that did that had some serious PR problems. So, Atlazan, I mean, to me it sounds like Atlas plus Tarzan plus Atlantis. Honestly, I wouldn't put it past them to put all three in the set. What doesn't make sense to me is look at the font similarities between Amonkhet and Hour of Devastation, and honestly, I think that's the same font that they've been using for a while now. Atlazan looks pretty different. It kind of resembles some fonts that they've used in the past, but it's a pretty different stylistic change. Then you look at Conquest of Power, and I looked at it for a millisecond and thought that looks identical to Command and Conquer, basically every logo ever. In fact, I actually thought that either Tiberium Wars or Tiberian Sun had that green kind of texture, light green, dark green. Couldn't find it though, I guess it was actually gold. Still, it looks so similar. I mean, that's basically the same font. It's just so odd. And Conquest of Power, the real square, bricky, like kind of computer terminal looking font, it's so like military and modern. It just doesn't match. And it doesn't look a thing like the Atlazan design. Plus, Atlazan looks, obviously underwater. It's got a merfolk. Everybody's saying, oh, it's Atlantis, it's underwater. I don't know what Vraska would be doing underwater, but, maybe the whole thing doesn't, take place underwater. Maybe we got like a Star Wars Episode 1 thing going on with some people underwater, some people not. But nothing but the background really fits from Conquest then, because, yeah, it's the same pattern, it's the same carving, which is pretty indicative. But the font changed the topic. It doesn't say anything about water. I mean, the storyline could be absolutely anything, so that's not very solid evidence, but it's something. Honestly, looking at them side by side, they wouldn't even look like they're in the same block. So I think the overall color scheme and the font is what they were asking people about, and that's not settled at all. And if they didn't settle on the font, I can almost guarantee you they didn't actually settle on the name. Plus, they know who's taken the survey. They probably would be smart enough to put in filler names that they just made up on the spot. Also, those could technically be the nicknames of the set, the working nicknames that they use, but I don't know, it doesn't really fit the pattern. It's usually something really stupid, like single word names, and they're usually like, foods or something? I don't even remember. Or they're usually at least sayings that go together, bare minimum. So do I think the names are real? I'm going to give it a definite maybe. Do I think those are the final fonts? Hell no. I think they're still working on that one. Now, if you look at what Wizards' actual tweet said, which is the only information we have from them on this, as far as I know, it says in the middle, which is the only part that's vaguely understandable, the survey was made to test packaging design concepts, not actual packaging. Or at least that's what it should have said. Well, what do they mean concepts? I mean, the top aren't like octagons. I mean, they look exactly the same. I mean, look at what changed between anything on here and the actual packs that exist now. They really didn't change anything. It's the same hanger style. It's age 13 plus. It's the Magic the Gathering logo. Then it's the title, and then below it 15 card booster pack. The only thing that they changed was the black fade and the font, and I guess you could say the color scheme. That's it. Otherwise, it's, some person and they're on the cover, and I mean, there's not much to these. They didn't go way off the deep end and, oh, now they're square, oh, now they're bigger, now they say additional things. They basically didn't change anything. The only thing that did change was the font in the title. So unless they're really obsessed with fonts and colors, nothing else could really be different. I mean, it's not like they're asking people, what do you think of our new curved design? Well, it isn't. It's not new. So I think they might be stretching the truth a little bit here. Here's the thing. If Atlazan and Conquest of Power are the names, they never technically said that those aren't the names. They never said, no, these are fake, these are working titles, these are made up, these are gibberish. They never said that. But if it comes out completely different, they also never confirmed it. They said these are design concepts, not actual packaging. Of course, like I said, it's possible they haven't even settled on a set name yet, and they're running Atlazan out there to see what people think of it. It would have been really helpful to see the rest of the survey. You know, because the type of questions that they would have asked would have implied what was different and what was experimental, what was not set in stone. I don't think they're asking people, what do you think of the top title, Magic the Gathering? And somebody's like, oh, I think you should change it to Magica the Get Together. Yeah, I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're pretty set on the Magic the Gathering logo being on the top middle. So we really don't know. I mean, and then the other thing is they kind of suggested with the overall tone that these are not real. Like these are not at all anything but a temporary mock-up to gather information. But some pretty strong evidence to the contrary is the fact that almost everything Wizards has said lately has been a lie. They consistently and constantly lie to their customers. You know, like limited print run, for example, and the potentially fake cell phone leaks that they probably leaked themselves. They are an extremely dishonest company, so anything they say, you might as well just ignore it, or just, even better, assume the exact opposite. So them saying that these are not finalized proofs means that they probably are finalized proofs. But then why would they be taking a survey about it? And that's what I can't get past. Something on those designs is not finalized. It's just a question of what. And I think that's all the further we can get investigating this for now. I mean, it'll be really interesting to see once they announce the sets if those are even the names. Like I said, they just don't seem to have consistency. They don't at all look similar. They don't even look like they belong in the same block together. The names have nothing to do with each other. The characters even don't seem to have the same environment like to do with each other. Like if you compare it to Amonkhet Hour of Devastation, where it's straight up Egyptian. So maybe we will see some changes. It'll be really interesting to see. Either way, if this is a legitimate leak and Wizards didn't consider it, they didn't consider that maybe somebody taking the survey would be a Magic player instead of a random person off the street, oops. But that would certainly be typical with their current level of intellectual property security, I guess you would say. So what do you guys think? Me personally, I'm completely indifferent. It doesn't make an ounce of difference what the next sets are named because honestly, all I care about is box EV mechanics. That's it. And the cards themselves and what they say. How powerful is it? Is it real tribally? Is it real build one of these 8 decks? Or is it real wide open? You know, those are the kind of things that I really care about. Do the mechanics suck? Are they annoying? Are they overpowered? Are they tedious? Does it require you to shuffle your deck twice per turn, which is just annoying? Or does it seem OP as balls? Do the cards look good in Modern? You know, that's the kind of stuff I care about. Who's on the cover and what the name of the set is, it's very interesting, but I don't care. I don't care if they announce right after Hour of Devastation that the next set will be called, I don't know, Sneaky Steve's Big Adventure Through Riki-Tiki-Shire. I'd be like, well, that's dumb, but show me the cards in it, all right? That's how I'll judge the set. I don't care if they put some Teletubby-looking thing on the front cover, honestly. I'm not that big into the artwork anyway. Show me what's in the set. That's all I care about. So anybody getting their undies in a bundle over this situation, totally not that big of a deal. Just keep that in mind. Although I think we can safely say Wizards is probably throwing a fit about this and then holding nobody accountable and doing nothing to prevent it in the future. They stick to that very, very rigid 3-step plan whenever something like this happens. So let me know what you guys think of this whole situation and if you care or not, and I'll see you guys next video.